also say that the reason why you can't think of not dying is because you are so cut off and blocked from seeing what possibilities or concepts of what creation could be outside of what you've come to accept as physical reality. So in your mind, you think, why would I want to live forever? But it's really not that. So, okay, with reincarnation had to exist. It had to be structured that way because it's the only way to get you out of here and loop you back in, and then you just keep coming back. Because if nobody keeps recycling, then there is no game. I mean, this game would cease to exist as it is. So reincarnation is like a glitch and a setup at the same time, and at the same time it does provide one with an opportunity to come back and snap out of it maybe a little bit each time you scratch your head. It also became necessary because of laws, outside of what outside of just the base knowledge of technology by any being that exists throughout time and space. This is something that can't be overridden, and it's the fact that for every action there is a reaction. So with that being said, because for every reaction there is going to be a reaction in correlation to the vibration of the action put out, then the results are going to be in connection, the same thing. Vibration is going to be relevant to that. So in order to keep things in balance, the reincarnation wheel allows that to happen because people re-enter, whether they re-enter in this game or wherever it is they go. Whatever you're doing, whatever you do, if it's not balanced out here, it's just going to balance out somewhere else. Kind of, what goes up must come down kind of thing. Mm-hmm. For every action there is a reaction. The law of cause and effect. That just exists, period. And that's just logical because there has to be some sort of balance, some way for balance to be kept. Otherwise, everything would collapse. If everything just went one way and it didn't have a chance for the scale to ever come into balance. So reincarnation allows one to come in again, yes, and to recreate some other concept of life, hopefully in balancing out, whatever that may be embedded in your soul, in your record, and in the records of your journey. Especially here, because we're dealing with this particular concept of reality right now. So it allows you to balance things out, with other beings, with just in general. So it's a balancing point, and you get a chance to come in. The thing is, you don't remember though that at some point that stops. It doesn't have to continue, because to what end? To what end would you keep doing this? There has to be a point where there is no need for that wheel. And of course, that goes into a whole bunch of other stuff now, because then it takes you into destiny, fate, the soul, all of those things.
I guess for our listeners, I want to address, this is a conscious, when we separate from the body, why is it necessary, is it necessary to come back to this timeline? You say it could be something similar, something, or does it have to be you're coming back here? And when you come back, are you consciously coming back into the reincarnation wheel? Is it a conscious process?
Yes. I mean, outside of this time, when beings leave here, most of whom are trapped really around the fields of this planet or this concept, because it's familiar, and most of the time there's so much unfinished business. And there's also the opportunity of going to a space of learning, of a review, And I think one of the beautiful films that actually I've seen that really sort of explored that was What Dreams May Come. They did a really good job, I think, with that movie in that sense, showing all the souls that were still stuck, there because of their own, because of them. It's not anybody. There's nobody that's making anybody stuck anywhere. There's nobody that's out there judging you in that sense. You are your own judge. Now, whatever you believe here, it carries through with you, and, you then have the opportunity for some who look in and then become aware and go, wow, and maybe contemplate for, because time is different in those particular spaces because you're not dealing with physical bodies. Contemplate, and then have the opportunity to then decide what they want to come back in, or how they want to come back in, and what changes were necessary. What balancing? What was the balancing act? And so that ends up happening, and we see that. So it's not as if I'm even talking fluff or talking crazy. If you stop and you look at life in general, and you look at the way people operate, and you say to yourself, geez, well, how is it that person is doing such a horrific act and this other person is just being this wonderful person? There has to be something else going on. Wake up. It's not because you're just amazingly wonderful and that person is god awful. There are things in effect. It's all about energy, and it is about balance, and it is about the experience at the same time. So you've got to look at all of these things and recognize that there is more than meets the eye.
Okay, so then, we had a show on Internet Radio with Express Yourself, and they had a guest yesterday talking about a movement, God Not Guns, or No God No Guns, and and if many of us who watch the television and we hear the stories and a lot of the violence with the guns and children and all of that stuff, and it always, in the back of my mind, I'm always going, okay, well, there's got to be something here that I'm not able to at this time fully understand consciously, but I have a knowingness that somehow this was some type of energetic experience that had to work itself out, on some level. But we get caught up in the story of it all.
You love it. It's exciting. It's a show.
Okay. It's like lights, camera, action. It's like
it is. It's like the best show probably in the galaxy. It's a good show. From what I understand, there beings lining up to come in and check it out. Get in on that Disney ticket. And you get here, and I'm sure most of us have said, okay, well, it looks like a good idea. We're going to come in, and then we get here, and then you don't remember, and you're scratching your head, and you're all confused because why would I choose this insanity? Yes. And sometimes I still scratch my head and go, now why did I come here again?
I know. I've heard Dr. Phil Valentine said that Earth was it for a mental asylum? He called it something.
Institution. Institution. It's considered where they sent a lot of the warlords, a lot of the warmongers. It's like they banished them to this planet. And, that's so very clear when you look at it. It is a very warring planet. And that warring energy runs in pretty much all of us as human beings. If we're going to be honest with ourselves and really look at what the word war means, it's not just guns. It's not just all of that. You examine your thoughts. You examine how you feel about other people. It's a competitive planet, and competition is war, and war is survival. This is a planet of survival.